All right, Sean Zattel here, joined with the former WBC super featherweight champion, looking to regain that WBC world title November 2nd, out in New York, fighting Robson Conceicao in a rematch of a very controversial fight the first time around. What's going on, Oshaki?
Man, doing good, man. Just grinding. We ready.
Well, man, let's get right to the fight. Fight number one. Let me ask you: can two things be true at once? With this fight, in that you should have won, you should have held on to your title, but you also should have or could have done more as well to make it that much more clear. How do you look at that, Oshaki?
Um, you always can do more. You always can do more, but it's clear as day who won the fight. I mean, I outlanded them every round. It just. I mean, they gonna find a reason just because the judges made a bad call, so they gonna find a reason. Oh, they gave it to him for activity. Everybody with an eye knew that fight wasn't close. You know what I mean? And they knew he couldn't touch me. So, yeah. I mean, I could have did more, of course. You always can, but I didn't think that was gonna play a part in the fight. Just me having to put more act. You know what I mean? It was kind of easy.
What do you think made the judges do that, man? Were they seeing just one guy throwing a lot of shots, not really particularly paying attention to what's landing, or what do you think it was? Politics? So,
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like you said, it could be the judges of what they willing to what they want to see or what they like to see. It could have been the activity that did it. I'm really not stuck on that no more because I'm really going to the future, like to make this wrong right. So I really looking at the positives in it as far as I can do more. So that's what I'm taking out of it. I'm really ain't worried about the judges and none of that anymore. You know what I mean?
man, well, for a minute there, just listening to you talk about not being concerned with the judges, does that mean this rematch the judges aren't gonna be needed? Is
I
that
mean, if if they need it, that's cool. But I'm going in there to work, so I don't really. I'm not really. Basically, I'm not dwelling on the negatives in the past and all that. I'm like you said, I could have done more. I understand what I need to do now, and that's where my mind at.
did you because I know obviously you know you're boxing being a champ, but Pernell Whitaker, he got robbed against Jose Luis Ramirez. And then in fight number two, again, even though most people thought he won the first fight, he wound up dominating twice, two or three times even more to make it that much clearer a second time around. Did you ever watch those fights or hear about that? And is that kind of what you see playing out against Robson Conceicao?
Um, that fight I'm gonna have to go check out. That fight I actually you just put me on to something. I'm gonna go check that out. But I definitely paid attention to like the Floyd and the Castillo when he first fought. I mean, am I saying it right? Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first one and then
Castillo,
the second
Castillo.
fight. The same thing with the Madonna, the first fight, second fight. Just watching the adjustments, just watching, just I'm paying attention to what he had to do more. So yeah, you're right, and I'm definitely gonna go check out when we finish this later. I'm going to check out the Pinell and Ramirez. I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah, from what I remember, like he won most of the rounds, just circling the ring, turning the guy off the jab. But basically, in fight number two, he just turned it up a little bit more and
Yeah,
put, you know what I mean. So I guess that was basically the difference between fight one and fight two.
yeah,
Um, but is this the fight though where you put it all together, where you put together the defense from the Conceição and the Ray Vargas fight when you won that title, and the offense down the stretch from the Hernandez and the Nova fights, and put it all together.
yeah. That's the plan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the plan, man. We grinding and yeah, that's the plan, man. We putting it all together, man. We gonna we yeah we ready to rock out.
I know you said like you're not focused on the negative, only the positive, but is there Did some of the negative that came from it put a chip on your shoulder in this fight? Like, intensity wise, anything for the rematch?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I took that and I let it feed into me, especially in a way of I understand who I am and I understand how talented I am. And I just took it as, you take the easy way out. Like I'm gonna keep saying, like you said, I could have done more. So I feel like that's what it is. You know what I mean? God, the universe, let me know, like, hey, you one of the most talented fighters, bro. Use it. Stop. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm taking all that positive out of it. We're gonna turn it up a notch, just like you said.
Well, again, I hear where you're coming from, but the fallout from that night, and it went to like Cam and Mace, it went mainstream basically, but beyond the boxing world was because of the style. You and Shakur were kind of similar that night, pure boxing. You wind up getting, robbed and basically everybody's eyes. He winds up getting criticized despite getting the decision for that kind of style of fighting. Where do you fall where there's these two trains of thoughts like, hey, it's a sweet science, hit and don't get hit, and then the other side of, okay, I understand that, but we also want to see entertainment or we want to see some action to it. What do you think is like as a fighter, the fair perspective on all of that?
Um, you want to entertain, man. You want to show the fans, give them something to what they pay their money for. Um, I looked at it. I wouldn't. So that's why I kind of look at it as a better opportunity for me to go out there and handle my business, do more because they was booing in my fight and they was booing at the end. You know what I mean? And I wasn't in a mode. I was like, man, fuck them, let them boo. Because I'm like, all right, I done gave y'all 3 fights this year, and I've been going to war with guys. Like I've been going to war, man. It's cool. I can take it easy. I mean, I can make this easy and get a unanimous decision, and it kind of bit me. So um, now I look at it a lot different. Like, all right, it's entertainment, and we got to go out there and do it, but we ain't taking no more easy routes out. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
gonna we trying to put it on these boys every time now.
Yeah, it's just always an interesting perspective because we the public, like, we're not in there with punches
Yeah.
flying, and so it's like, okay, you want it to look a certain way, but if you're in there yourself, it's about getting the job done by
Right, right, right.
so it's just always an interesting balance between the fighter's perspective and then what the people want or don't want. So
Yeah. Now, if I wasn't so active fighting, and I didn't have like the round of the year last year and stuff like that, then I probably would have took it a lot more like, all right, bro, you need to get active. You can't have these people booing you and stuff. But I was like, all right, let them boo this one time, man. This one time, let me, you know what I mean? But fortunately, the bad call happened. So it's
right.
all good.